Hey folks, how y'all doing? Hope you're doing well. Happy Sonic Superstars. It is here. Launch day was yesterday, and I have played just under 9 hours of the game. So, I'm going to do a quick little review here. Spoiler warning, there will be some spoilers in the game. But I'm going to answer the questions of, did I enjoy it? Is it worth your time? And is it worth its asking price? So, without further ado, let's jump in. So the first thing I'm going to go about is the physics, is the gameplay. How is the game? Is it fun to play? I'm happy to say yes. They have done the physics correctly. It feels like you're playing a classic Sonic game, which is a silly statement to say, but recent classic Sonic games like Sonic 4 Episode 1 and Sonic Forces, classic Sonic has not felt as good to play. That is not the case in Superstars. Superstars, the characters, they are good fun. I've mainly played as Sonic in the game at the moment, and he controls just fine. You've got your spin dash, you've got your drop dash, you've got your jumps, you've got the emerald powers. You can just have fun with it, and it feels like you're playing Sonic 2 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Now, I have played as some of the other characters, but only in their character-exclusive levels. Now, what I mean by that is, you can go through the game and you'll get told at the end of some of the levels, would you like to go to Act 2, or would you like to go to Act Knuckles, or Act Tails, Act Amy, etc.? They'll get a special act that is for them to play, that is exclusive to them, and uses their abilities. All the characters' abilities, they all work as we know and love. Tails, he can fly around for a little bit of time before he has to land. Knuckles has his ability to climb and glide as he does. Speedrunners, unfortunately, he has been gutted again. He does not have the ability to spin dash immediately from landing out of a glide, and some other little speed tech, it's not there, which is annoying and unfortunate, but hey, yeah, there you go. And Amy, she has a little double jump with her hammer spin as well, and being able just to whack her hammer, she runs along the ground and just wailing on anything that gets in the way, which is really good fun. So I have played as them, and they are all good fun. Spoiler warning for this part. 1, 2, 3. Wait, Trip is a playable character, because of course she is. And she's a lot of fun. She's basically straight out of Knuckles Chaotix. Like, you watch her jump and it's the same vector, like, donut jump that she has. But she's like a combination of Amy and Knuckles, which is really, really cool. She can climb up walls using her spikes. She can then also do the double jump, and of course has the ability to spin dash and just run through. It's quite good. She doesn't have the drop dash though. That was something that caught me off guard. I tried to drop dash with her and it wasn't there. It's like, oh, all right then, fair enough. But yeah, playing as Trip is good fun. Now, continuing with the gameplay for a second, the main new feature in the game is, of course, the emerald powers here that you get. You grab a Chaos Emerald, you get a new power. First things first, the special stages are fantastic. I love them to bits. You get yourself into a big ring, just like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and you find yourself teleported to this weird space where the emerald is running away from you, and you've got to go and chase it. Chase down the emerald, swing on orbs, swing on rings, use mines, but don't actually hit the mines, and then use boosters as well. If you can chase the emerald down, if you can tether to the emerald, that emerald is now yours. They are so much fun to play. I have genuinely enjoyed them, and it's going to be interesting to try and route them in the speedrun if we're getting the emeralds, and I think we're getting at least 2 of them, and that's because of the emerald abilities. Once you get a Chaos Emerald, you're given an ability that you are able to use once per checkpoint. So every time you hit a checkpoint, it is refreshed. That includes going back and re-hitting a checkpoint. It will redo your abilities, which is actually quite nice. But yeah, loads of different abilities that you can use. Most of them are vertically based. There's a lot of vertical momentum or height that you can gain from these abilities. You've got, of course, you have the avatar, which is just summon loads of avatars on the screen, have fun with it. You've got Vine. You can just summon a Vine and you start climbing it, away you go. And then my favorite one that I have a lot of fun with is Bullet. Now, Bullet is basically just Burst from Sonic Colors DS, but finally, on a console version of the game. It is busted. It is fun. You'll probably use that a lot to unintentionally skip over parts of the level or break it. But that is probably my favorite one to use. And I'm looking forward and hoping we're going to use it in the speedrun. Then, of course, if you do get all 7 Chaos Emeralds, you do get the super characters as well. So you'll have everybody: Super Sonic, Super Knuckles, Super Tails, Super Amy, and Super Trip. I'm not going to say anything about Super Trip. I'm just going to leave you to discover it because, oh, pardon the pun, it's a trip. Like, oh, okay then, that's fine. But yeah, it's not all rosy with the Chaos Emeralds though, but more about that on my downsides later on. As the game does have some, of course, it does have some downsides. One of the downsides, unfortunately, that I am going to bring up is the music. I appreciate what they were trying to do with the music, but honestly, there's some really good bangers. Like, there are some great bangers. I like Speed Jungle. I also really like what they do in, I believe it's Lagoon something. I want to say Lagoon City, but it's probably not Lagoon City. But Lagoon City Act 3 is wonderful. Like, there's some really awesome tunes that I enjoy, and they are amazing. But there's a lot of tunes that are unfortunately just kind of forgettable, which is disappointing. And I hate to say it, but it is the levels that kind of reminiscent of Sonic 4 with the Mega Drive sound font. It's like, it's not doing it. It's just not doing it. And the only boss tune at the moment that I would say I can remember and enjoy is honestly just the remix of Fang's theme from Triple Trouble. The boss themes just, they're not vibing with it. They're not vibing. I'm not gelling with the soundtrack as much as I would have liked, which is a shame because normally Sonic games, even if the game's not great, the soundtrack is usually a banger. But they have a lot of different composers and that all working on this. It's not going to be for everybody, but there is some good ones. So your mileage may vary on the soundtrack. What else do I need to do? What else do we need to do on the review? Well, let's go for some of the negatives that I think on the game here. Can we zoom the camera out? Like, just a little bit. It feels like when you're playing single player, the camera is zoomed in too much. It doesn't give you a lot of time to react to what's coming, which kind of sucks on a first playthrough. When you're trying to go fast, you finally build up speed, you're having fun, and BAM! You've hit an obstacle, and you're like, oh, well, thanks for that. I appreciate that. That was great. Now I got to build up all my speed again. But it is a case of, it's like, just zoom it out just a little bit more. Let us see just a little bit more of what's ahead, and we could go ahead on that one. The other thing that gets me are the Emerald Powers. As much as I love the Emerald Powers and the fact that they do recharge per checkpoint is great, the part that's not great is, one, if you ready an Emerald ability, so you select it with the right stick or the bumpers, and it's down in your bottom right corner saying, I'm ready to be used. If you get hit, if you take damage, that's gone, and you have to reselect it again. That's a slight pain in the butt. The major pain in the butt is when you activate the ability, and the ability is currently in use, and you take damage, it's gone. It's completely gone. It's used up. You can't use it again until you hit a checkpoint. And that really sucks when you're trying to navigate a level either using the water power-up or you're using Bullet to navigate through a level and you end just as you hit like an enemy or a spike trap or whatever. You lose access to it until you hit the next checkpoint. It sucks. It's not fun. It's like, oh, I was going to go and use that to go through the water slightly quicker. Nope, you took damage. That's it. This section is now harder for you. And it feels like it's just overly punishing you. I feel like that if you take damage on it, sure, you should still lose your rings and whatnot, but you should still at least be able to go back into the power as long as it hadn't ran out. So, yeah, it's kind of disappointing for me on that. What else do we need? Well, there's still battle mode. I haven't played battle mode yet, so I can't tell you about that. What I can tell you is I have finished the game twice. So I finished the game the first time. When you do that, you unlock, spoiler warning, Trip's story. So Trip's story becomes available where you get to play through the game in its entirety again as Trip. And she's a lot of fun to play as. Her levels, however, they kind of done a mixture of Sonic 3 and Knuckles' story with Knuckles and the Egg Robo, mixed with Encore mode from Sonic Mania. The level layouts are all largely the same, but there's more enemies, there's more holes to fall in, there's more crushers to come and get you. There's just, in general, more obstacles. Now, personally, I didn't have too much of a problem navigating them, but I've seen online quite a few people who have got rather annoyed a few of the later levels especially. I mean, I don't like Golden Capital. I'm sorry, Golden Capital is just not fun. I don't know why. It's long, it's drawn out, and it's just not fun to play. But, you know, your mileage may vary. Oh, that's right. The bosses. The bosses. It's a Sonic game, and that can only mean one thing. The bosses are either great or they're rubbish. In this game, unfortunately, they're more on the rubbish side of things. And honestly, for me, I feel like that's just because their iframes are too long. Why do your bosses have like iframes that are 10 to 15 seconds long? If I'm skillful enough to get a double hit on a boss, I should be able to get a double hit on the boss. Now, I get that you want us to maybe see phase 2 or phase 3 or whatever other abilities the game has, but there's just times where it looks like the boss should be vulnerable and he's not, and you're like, oh, well, that's a pain in the butt. So yeah, they can become a little bit long and a little bit drawn out. However, overall, the game is a lot of fun. If it wasn't a lot of fun, I would not have played it for about 9 hours. I did not feel like those 9 hours I was like, oh, this sucks, this isn't great. I had some of the little problems that I've mentioned there, but overall, the experience has been pretty good. If I was to describe Sonic Superstars in one word, I would say it's safe. It's a very safe game. They didn't do anything terribly new with the formula. They didn't really change up too much, which sometimes don't change what's broken, you know? Like, we've seen them change up things and it's just not landed. So it's a very safe game overall. I still rate it a 7 out of 10. If you want your numerical value, I give it a solid 7 out of 10. Remembering that I've not done any of the online, I've not done any of the battle mode. I've still got some other things that I need to do, but my initial impressions of it are, it's not bad. I can see myself definitely going to speedrun this. I am hoping that we find some amazing glitches and we can get these levels down to like 1 minute and 2 minute levels and just go through. Because some of the levels, when you're exploring them, 6, 7, 8 minutes long, and you're going, oof, those are long. But we'll see what we're able to do in the speedrun of it. The final question, is it worth the asking price of around £50 or $60? Your mileage may vary. Personally, I'm fine with paying that much on it. I have paid that much on it. That's how that works. I've bought the game. I've played it. I would have preferred it if it was £10 cheaper, if it was £40, or if it was $50. In fact, I'd say maybe if it was $35 rather than $40 on it, just because of what you're getting on it. Sonic Mania was a game that released and was like £15, £20. It was a very similar length, and honestly, Mania's better. Mania is better. Superstars is good, but Mania is better. Mania is still top tier. So if you enjoyed Mania, you will most likely enjoy Superstars. But is it worth the money that they're asking for? I would say barely yes. Barely yes. I'd rather it was cheaper. If you want to hold out for a sale and grab it on a sale, grab it on a sale. Speaking of sale, if you do want to grab it, Arg's got a Fanatical code. Put in Argick 15 on Fanatical and you'll get a 15% discount on either version of the game, and you'll be able to get it for slightly cheaper on that one. Yes, that's a sponsored part there. Blah, blah, blah. That code is lasting until the 30th of November 2023, by the way. But yeah, it's there. It's not terrible. It just doesn't, it's safe is what it is. I'm enjoying it, but I'm a Sonic fan, so it's a case of they've got me hook, line, and sinker. It doesn't do anything horribly obnoxious or terribly awful that's like, oh my god, this game is not worth it. Other than maybe the whole, we don't think pixel art is that good. Are you kidding me? Mania looks beautiful, goddammit. But yeah, that is it for me on this one. That is my quick review. Looks at the time, sees it says 13 minutes. Maybe it's not that quick, but you know, 9 hours, 15 minutes down here, it's not bad. I've still got to go finish the finale of the game. That's what we're going to do. So maybe I'll update in the comments below, but let me know what you think of Sonic Superstars. Have you been playing it? Do you agree with my opinion? Do you think I'm talking absolute nonsense? Do you think I'm a fanboy? Let me know. Just let me know. I'm happy to have the discussions with you. The game is alright. The game is safe. It has some quirks. Yeah, that's Sonic Superstars. But I'm going to go back to playing the game. We're going to be playing it tonight on stream, doing the finale, then doing some battle mode stuff. So join us at twitch.tv/Argick, and maybe I'll get some gameplay stuff up here as well, and you'll be seeing some speedruns of it. But for now, that is the end of it for me. So I will catch you all next time in the next video, whatever video that may be. Goodbye, everybody.